Good evening, fellow patrons. In today's video, I will be showing you the fastest and easiest way to beat the Easter egg on the new Black Ops 7 Zombies map, Astra Malorum, on solo. I will go through every step of the Easter egg and what I recommend in terms of loadout and augments to defeat the Catheris in the boss fight. Go through this door at spawn and follow this route. There are 2 components you need to pick up for the second step in the pack punch process. There are 5 possible spawns which I will shoot at during this video. You can pick them up before the game prompts you to do so.
We're golden.
On the way to picking up the second component, hit this switch in the observatory dome. Your objective will update once you do this.
Really? Good for me.
Once you have both components, head back to the observatory and install them to repair the harmonic oculus.
We're golden.
Once you have installed both components, the power will now be able to be turned on. There will be roughly a 45-second period where you have to guard the harmonic oculus. If you do so successfully, once the time expires, the pack punch machine will appear.
Damn, this gives me the warm fuzzies.
The next step is to build the wonder weapon for this map, the LGM-1. You can build this weapon pretty early on in your game. The first thing you will need to do is be mindful of the salvage you need, which is 500 salvage to purchase the ammo mod Cyro Freeze. Do not shoot the ether crystals around the map until you have this ammo mod. You will also need to pack punch a gun as soon as you can. Once you're able to pack punch a bullet weapon, you can start gathering the 4 parts that are scattered throughout the map. You can do these in any order, but you must collect all 4 of these parts prior to moving to the next step. Once you activate pack punch, the new elite Oscar will spawn in. Do not kill him, but shoot his laser or the saucer that is tethered to the laser and pick this up. This is one of the 4 parts. Head over to the crash site and with your pack-a-punch gun, shoot the hood of Tessie and grab the car battery. Then you will need to find a blinking lamppost that is located in various parts of the map. They are fairly easy to spot, however there is one kind of hiding behind a corner next to the Wisp T machine. Once you have Cyro Freeze attached to your weapon, shoot 3 ether crystals scattered around the map. They will drop each 1 crystal, which together make up the last of the 4 parts. Once you have these 4 parts, we will now need to kill Oscar in 3 different ways. The earlier you do this, the better off you will be. He spawns in roughly every other round after you activate Pack Punch. I like to do the most difficult way first, and to me this is by activating the rocket. However, you can do these 3 killing methods in any order. Head over to the Museum Infinitum and position yourself right next to the rocket. You will need to lure Oscar behind the rocket and use the rocket's propulsion to eliminate Oscar. To do this, you need to put the crystals you gathered from the ether crystals into the side panel of the rocket. This will start a 5-second countdown. At the end of the countdown, there will be a simulated launch that will begin, and Oscar must be behind the rocket when this begins. The easiest way to do this is by shooting his shield right as he gets behind the rocket, which will stun him and make him immobile. If done correctly, he will drop what seems to be a useless mini astronaut. If you fail, all you need to do is gather more crystals from the ether crystals scattered about the map. Once you have completed this step, next head to the pack punch area. There will be several hissing vents that you will need to shoot around the room. Shoot these in quick succession. There is 1 below the pack punch machine and a few above it, so be mindful of those. If done correctly, the telescope will lower to the middle of the pack punch platform. Similar to the way we killed Oscar before with the rocket, you will need to lure him to the pack punch platform. Once he gets close to the platform, you will need to enter into the telescope and place your cursor on the sun. This will activate a beam that will vaporize Oscar. You will see another useless astronaut if done correctly. I also advise you to shortly after you do this step to re-enter the telescope and place the cursor on Mars. Write the 4-digit code down you see at the bottom left of your screen. We will use this for a future step. If you do save and quit, the numbers will change, just FYI. Moving on to the final Oscar killing method, head over to the Luminarium and install one of the parts near the machine in the center to activate the electrovolt projector. Like the previous methods, lure Oscar into the Luminarium and activate the trap. You need to remain in the Luminarium with Oscar until his battery overcharges. Once you complete the third and final killing method, Oscar will drop the Wonder Weapon. Your goal should be complete these steps by round 10, as this is the earliest we can start the next step. If you've completed the Wonder Weapon steps before round 10, this is a good time to position the telescope on Mars and get that 4-digit code I was referring to earlier. You will also need to grab the bone saw, which is located in the museum. All you have to do is shoot the glass and press the interact button to achieve it. Once you have reached round 10 and you have the Wonder Weapon in your possession, Oscar will start playing some audio when he is in patrol mode. Please be mindful that this audio only begins at round 10 or later. You will then need to closely follow Oscar for a short time whilst undetected. Don't fret this too much, he is completely oblivious. You can basically be a foot away from the dude and be bopping zombies that are attacking you and he won't even notice. After a little while, he will play an audio recording that mentions the names of 3 planets. You will need to remember them in the order in which they are said. The planets correspond to their order in the solar system. I have a cheat sheet for you on screen here. You will then head over to the Pack-a-Punch area and enter this code in the machine you see in my game. If done correctly, the digits will turn green and a platform will lower near Pack-a-Punch. Climb onto the platform and grab the Cyro key. Once you have the Cyro key and bone saw, head over to Machina Australis and then interact with this Cyro chamber. Using the key, you will unlock the chamber and begin harvesting the occupant's brain with the bone saw. I'm not showing this cutscene as I'm not sure if YouTube will allow me to show it. Once you have harvested the brain, head over near the Illuminarium and place the brain here. This will begin a lockdown where you must protect the brain until the countdown ends. You will see a health bar that you will have to preserve for the duration of the lockdown. Oscar will spawn in at some point, so be prepared. Decoys, Ether Shroud, or Idolize will be helpful here. If done correctly, you will be able to pick the brain back up and take it to the large circular room in Machina Australis. Place the brain in this holding canister and then make your way to this machine. This is where you will enter the Mars declination code we gathered earlier from the telescope. If done correctly, the numbers will flash blue. Again, be mindful that if you save and quit, your code will change upon re-entering your game. Return to the brain after entering the code and look at this screen. When you see the slide that says Thurston's reading list, you will need to remember all of the book titles in order in which they are shown until you see the Thurston's reading list slide again. The number of books vary from match to match. In my 2 attempts, I had 5 books the first time and 4 the second time. Once you have the books memorized, head into the library room. In here, you will see 3 stone statue busts and several bookshelves near each bust. There is a few corresponding bookshelves for each bust.
She said, Uzi, can you bust me? I was up a bird, took so long she started rushing.
Sorry about that, I couldn't help myself. Shout out to Lil Uzi though. Anyway, interact with the shelves and read the title of the book on the shelves. For each book title you see that matches the ones you read from the screen earlier, that will mean you will turn or rotate that bust that amount of times. You turn them by pressing the interact button. So in the clip you see here, I am turning the first bust twice. This is because 2 of my titles were on the first set of shelves. The second bust also had 2 of my titles, and the last bust only had 1 of my book titles. The rotation of the bust can only be done at the very beginning of each round, so be cognizant of this. If done correctly, your character will positively affirm you. Shortly after you hear this dialogue, there will be an opening at the top of the bookshelf ladder. Climb this ladder and grab the Neptune planet ornament. Once we have the Neptune ornament, we will now have to find 3 paper notes with directions and planets on them. The first can be found in the library room, the second is in the large round room in Machina Australis, and the last will be in the Luminarium. Make note of the direction and planet on each sheet of paper. The smaller looking planet that appears to be blue mist is Mars. The bigger blackish looking planet is Neptune. This threw me off initially. Sorry about my astrology incompetencies. Once you have noted the directions of the planet, you go to the second level of the large round room and then place Neptune in position among the other planets. You will then need to shoot Mars, Saturn, and Neptune into their proper direction, which will need to be aligned with the compass that is visible from the ground level near where we placed the brain earlier. Once you are confident you have the planets in the proper position, head over to the brain and interact with the screen, as it should say something about the power is ready to activate. After you interact with the switch, a portal will appear and Oscar will be spawned in. You must protect the portal from Oscar's flying saucers. Each saucer that hits the portal will disrupt the portal's reboot process. The ray gun is exceptional for this part of the Easter egg because it has explosive damage. You can just shoot Oscar's body from time to time and it will break the flying saucers that he deploys. Idolize and Ether Shroud are also very helpful here. If done correctly, your character will be automatically teleported to Mars. If you fail, don't fret, wait for the next round to start again and try again. Just fair warning, do not activate this portal on a dog round. You will spawn into Mars and you will not be able to complete the next step due to the lack of visibility. This happened to me the first time I tried it. Once you touch down on Mars, go to the center platform below the teleporter and grab the canister, which is Thurston. Bring him back up the stairs and install him near the device near the portal. The interaction you see will be similar in appearance to when you repair Tessie. Once he is installed, press the interact button. Wait for a high-pitched humming sound, which Thurston will comment on, and quickly head down the stairs to this window. You will see an object that looks like the golden snitch from Harry Potter flying in the distance. You need to shoot the orbs at the top of the 4 towers in the distance. I don't believe there is an exact order that is consistent from game to game, but start with the back right podium, it will turn blue. Then shoot the back left one, which should also turn blue. If the front left one does not turn blue when you shoot it, don't fret. Pivot to the front right one or quickly shoot the others for good measure. Once you get 3 blue hits, turn around and hit the orb above you near the portal. This should also turn blue and the golden snitch will enter the arena. You will need to use the low gravity to snatch the snitch from the air. Keep shooting the orb above the portal to keep the snitch in the arena. For every missed attempt at grabbing the snitch, I would shoot the orb just to be safe. Once you make a well-timed jump, interact with the snitch in midair to secure it. Once you have the snitch in your possession, enter it in this slot in the right corner of the arena. We are now 1 step away from the boss fight. Head back to Earth and enter the Pack-a-Punch room. Interact with the organ and look at the order of the symbols you see on this screen. You will need to remember their order and what they look like. I have made a cheat sheet for you guys with the names I have given the symbols so I can better explain what to do next. When you land on Mars, there will be 5 pillars with these symbols that are scattered around the boss fight arena. Their order is important, so make sure you make note of this. Press the interact button on the organ to receive your order of the 5 symbols. These will change if you save and quit your game, so just FYI. This cheat sheet shows you my order of the symbols in my game and the names I have given them. Your order will be different. The symbol that appears similar to a heartbeat is one of the 5 symbols that is not shown, so we must find out which it is based off of the process of elimination. In my game, the symbol not shown is the symbol that kind of has features of all the symbols, the conglomeration I've called it. This heartbeat symbol can take the place of any of the 5 symbols and be anywhere in the order. Because the heartbeat-like symbol was second in my order, the conglomeration symbol will be second in the order, which I will now explain. When you have made your way back to Mars with the LGM-1, you must now shoot the top of the podiums that have symbols affixed to their base. If you are loading in from a previous save, you will need to interact with the snitch again where it is secured at the base of one of the podiums. I'm not sure if the order of these wonder weapon shots matter, but it is good practice for the next step. Once you have shot the top of all of the podiums, each symbol should be a glowing light blue. This is where the order of the symbols comes into play. In quick succession, you must interact with each symbol in the order that they were shown on the organ. If done correctly, all of the symbols would glow a dark blue. If the symbols turn red, you will need to pass 1 round before trying again. If all of the symbols are glowing a dark blue, you are ready for the boss fight.
Not a single clue.
This gameplay footage is of my first match where I completed the boss fight. There are 4 stages and it is extremely difficult to complete, especially on solo. The video on screen is an in-depth guide of how to never fail this fight again, as I will break down my entire strategy which I put to the test at health cap. I will go through augments and loadouts, so if you're struggling with this battle, please tune in. Thanks for watching, JJet out.